Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't come here to listen to me. I'm not going to say too much, but let me say this. I'm up just to introduce Jake French, who is the commander of Canadian Fleet Atlantic, an honored guest that we have here tonight. I think that we want to hear more from him. So let me just say this. If I got it right, you joined in St. John, New Brunswick. Became a navigator, and when he became a navigator, he realized that he had to pursue navigation because no one wants to be from St. John, New Brunswick. Everyone wants to be from St. John's, Newfoundland. So he understood the slight difference between those two and showed great promise for moving off into the future. In that future, he's performed brilliantly. I'm proud to say that I count him as a shipmate in countless endeavors, but more importantly, on his own, he's done some great things that make him an ideal fit to come and talk to us tonight. Not only is he one of the executive leaders of the Canadian Navy, but he commands domestic and international operations for the Canadian Navy around the globe. And he does that all with the help of a cell phone and a couple of other people that follow him around. One of those people following him around, I should mention right now, is another old shipmate of mine, Pat Mackey, his fleet chief, who equally deserves a moment of your time if you want to pin him afterwards. So Pat, welcome to you as well. Jake, welcome to you. Thanks for your service throughout your time in. I appreciate what you did as Deputy Commander up in Joint Task Force North, making you a perfect fit for our discussions about the North and a perspective of the maritime domain that exists and the opportunity that exists in the North as seen from that headquarters, but also given that you're employing ships routinely now in our Arctic trying to do kinds of things. I think that's super. Enjoy your time in Newfoundland, starting with this, and I hope you get some time to fit in some fly fishing, which I know has been a long since a hobby of yours somewhere along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Commodore Jake French, Commander, Canadian Fleet Atlantic.
Thanks very much, Art, and thanks, sir. And great, and it's a hard act to follow with all the history that was there. Thanks, thank you very much for having us. It's a pleasure for Pat and I to be here from Halifax. And it's a pleasure to be back where I've been as a sub-lieutenant, as a lieutenant commander, probably not as a captain, but now back as a Commodore. And pleasure to be here from Halifax, representing Canadian Fleet Atlantic and representing the Royal Canadian Navy. And a pleasure to meet you all this evening. I hope to continue on the conversations at the MAS 25 and to get to know you all a little bit better. This is such a amazing home of what occurred in the Royal Canadian Navy. So I'm glad you're all here tonight. If it's your first time, hope it's not your last. It has been a repeat thing for me to get back here and to feel as if I'm reconnected, obviously to our veterans, to those who served in World War II. Such a meaningful spot. You know, Halifax could be called the emotional home of the Royal Canadian Navy. This is an extremely special place, which could probably compete for that emotional home of what is the Royal Canadian Navy. And so it's a pleasure to be here tonight. Pat and I traveled from planes, trains, cars, automobiles. We recently had the pleasure of accompanying HMCS Montreal to Shoal Cove, Newfoundland, on the west coast of Newfoundland, where we were able to participate and commemorate the committal of ashes for Petty Officer Greg Applin, who passed away in January from a tragic accident. A shipmate of Montreal, a shipmate of many that were there. And we were able to get up to Shoal Cove with HMCS Montreal, make a nice, beautiful drive through Gros Morne to then fly from Deer Lake to here. But it's a pleasure to be here once again in Newfoundland. It's a very meaningful for Pat and I to be part of what was HMCS Montreal's experience from January onward. Very momentous occasion for them, and with family from Shoal Cove in attendance by boat and also on board. But it's a pleasure to be back here, and so thanks for having us at the Crow's Nest. I would say that we are extremely busy. Most of the times that I've been here, we've been heading up north. We've been heading around the world, or we're coming back from around the world, and I'd say that is still very true. The Canadian Fleet Atlantic and the surf ships that are heading out here and everywhere, hopefully they get to stop here when they can. We just had a ship, the HMCS Montreal, which I just spoke about, all around the world, circumnavigated the globe as part of Operation Horizon in the Indo-Pacific. HMCS Charlottetown will be doing much the same next year. We've had HMCS Margaret Brooke, who has just transited down to Antarctica and back for the first time ever for a Royal Canadian Navy ship to be that far south of the Antarctic Circle, visit Antarctica and all around South America. Numerous other ships that we have refueling will often come here in St. John's, one of their first stops and maybe last stops as a refuel. as they participate in Operation Inuk, which is, since 2007, has been a long-standing, maritime contribution to a Canadian Forces operation to surveil the north, to get up north, and to be where we need to be. And now with the Harry DeWolf class, much more capable and much more longevity and persistence in the north than we've ever had. So I won't go on and on about that. I hope to speak about something about that in the conference. But just to say that we have been extremely busy, and it's a pleasure to do this conference here in St. John's with Chief Mackey. I look forward to getting to know you all. So thanks for having us. I look forward to talking to you this evening. I look forward to meeting you throughout the week. Thanks, Art, for the introduction. Very, very much appreciated. And without any further ado, I'll turn it back over to Victoria. Thanks very much.